So you're jumping off the sidelines, you're getting into the housing market and looking to buy a home, or perhaps you're selling a home and you're going to be looking to relocate. Either way, you're going to probably be needing to speak to a lender. Should you be shopping it around? What should you be looking for? Stick around, we're going to get into all of that today. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It is your realtor Nick Isgro with eXp Realty here in Central Maine. Now, as I just said, today we're going to cover all of the bases that you need to know when you're looking for a loan product. We're going to talk about what it is you should be looking for, who should you be talking to, and how should you be going about doing all of this. Before I get into that, I do want to welcome you here to the channel. If you've never been here, we cover all things real estate here in the state of Maine, but particularly in the Central Maine market. If that's of interest to you and adds value to your process in the buying and selling of homes, or maybe you just like real estate, do me a favor. Go ahead and hit the like button on this video, hit subscribe, knock that little alarm bell. You'll be notified every time I put out new content. Now look, I want to disclose right up front, I am not a loan officer. I was the controller at a community bank here in the state of Maine for over 10 years, but I did not lend to anybody. I was keeping the books in the back room, and I've worked with a lot of loan officers, but again, I know a lot about the products, I know a lot about the process, but I am not the expert in that field. And in fact, one thing I hopefully can do, if you stick around to the end, is try to get you a method to refer you over to a professional in this field so that you can hook up with an expert if that's something that you're looking to do at this time. So the first thing we're going to cover is how do you go about looking for a loan product? How do you go about looking for that mortgage, that pre-qualification letter? What most people do is just go down to whatever bank that they have the majority of their bank accounts with and just check in and say, hey, look, I'm looking for a mortgage. They'll hook you up with the loan officer on staff and they'll get their letter and they're on their way. Either that, another method I see is people just go online, they go to Google and type in mortgage loan, and somehow they find themselves on some enormous national online lender, type in all of their personal information, next thing you know they have a pre-qualification letter and they're on their way. That's got to be it, right? Well, not really, and it's not what I would recommend. So right out of the gate, I want you to look at shopping for a loan just like you're shopping for a car or shopping for, somebody come do some work on your house. You want to get multiple quotes on this because not every product is equal and not everything really just comes down to the appearance price on the surface, and we'll talk about that here. There's a couple of things to remember. First, if you're shopping for rate, you need to get your multiple quotes really around the same time. If you get one quote on a Monday and your second quote on a Friday, you're really not comparing apples to apples because a lot of things can happen over the course of even one business day that may affect the Fed fund rates, which ultimately is going to affect the interest rate that you get quoted from whatever loan officer you're talking to. The other thing that you want to think about is the fee structure. So there's different fees that different banks assess. Some charge more, some charge less. So you might be in a situation where you have two interest rates. They're probably going to be fairly comparable if you got them on the same day. Again, I would recommend just setting aside a morning or an afternoon and just calling, your several lenders that you have on your list, and we'll talk about how to do that in a little bit. Setting that time aside so that you can get all of the quotes at once, get your information out there, and that way you're going to have really comparable products. Now, when you look at the loan summary, the cost of the loan, you want to know what the fees are because you're going to have not just interest rate but various fees. Some of those may be different kinds of service fees. Some places may charge almost no fees. Some place may look like it has a very advantageous rate but the fees are a lot higher. These are things that you want to know going into this, and this is why I always recommend getting multiple quotes. So when we're talking about the how to do this, you want to set aside some time, get your list of lenders that you're thinking about working with, get all of your quotes on the same day, preferably and really around the same time of the day, but if you can get them on the same day, you should be looking pretty good to move forward to the next step. So this might be a touchy topic for some of you out there because this is the who part of this whole thing. Who are you going to talk to? I recommend going to a variety of lenders because ultimately you're trying to get not only the best product, but the best person that you're going to work with. Remember, you're going to be working with this person from the start to the finish of your home buying process. This is someone that you're going to need to count on to communicate to you, to overcome different challenges that may come up during the loan process. When the underwriter comes back and is asking for all kinds of things, or maybe they just misunderstand something that you put on the application or something you wrote or said, that loan officer that you're going to be working with is going going to be the person that guides you through this process. You want to make sure you're dealing with a professional, you're dealing with an expert. Now, there's several different types of banks and lenders out there. There's obviously the big banks, there's the big online lenders, which can seem to offer a lot of more advantageous terms up front, but aren't necessarily going to be the easiest to work through as you're trying to go through the entire process, because they're just somebody that's distant and far away. You have your larger banks, your Chase, your Bank of America. A lot of times you'll find somebody in a local branch office in your state, depending on where you are, that you could work with. Here in Maine, we are definitely blessed. We have a lot of local community banks with lots of great lenders. Usually you're going to go in and talk to somebody who actually lives in and around the community that you're looking to buy your home in. Same goes for credit unions. Same goes for mortgage companies. Here in Maine, we have several large national mortgage companies, but that hold small local offices. These are people that realtors work with time and time again. You also have the opportunity to try to find a mortgage broker, and the broker is someone who will take your information and actually shop it around to different banks, and they still might go to some of those other banks that you've actually talked to and just try to negotiate the best terms on your behalf. But either way, I recommend going to a couple of different places to get your quotes. Ultimately, I can tell you my personal experiences. At the end of the day, when you're looking for someone to work with, our local Maine community banks and credit unions really just can't be beat. These are people, again, they're in your community. They're gonna know all about the market that's local to you. They're gonna know about the houses that you're looking at. They're gonna be working with a lot of local people, like the local appraisers and things like that. They're gonna know them on a more personal level. They're gonna recognize the names. They're gonna know the fee structures and things like that as you go through the process. So that's just something to keep in mind. Doesn't mean that it's gonna be the best for everybody. We do have some great mortgage companies where I've seen some great lenders here in the state of Maine that I enjoy working with and have worked out really well for some of my clients as well. So that's what I mean when I say, who are you gonna go see? Go see a couple of these folks, make your list. I would recommend talking to friends and family, see who they have worked with to get loans through for. If you can find someone that has a high recommendation, that'd be someone to start with. Also speak to your realtor, because as real estate professionals, we work with lenders on almost every deal that we're working on and have developed some really great relationships along the way, and we kind of know the different banks' processes, who they're working with for title companies and things like that. So definitely check for recommendations, friends and family, check with your realtor and see what we come up with there, but make a short list and then just get to it. So now we're in the last phase of trying to find the right mortgage product for you, the right lender for you. What is it we're looking for? Well, first off, look at the interest rate. Now again, if you did everything right from start to finish, most of the rates should be very comparable. In fact, if you have one lender who has a rate that just seems way out of this world compared to everyone else on the exact same kind of loan product, then that actually raises red flags, and that's something that you should be looking at. But by and large, everybody in the market may be off by fractions of a percentage, but that's about it. There shouldn't be any wild swings in the market. But the rate isn't always just it's the fees that you need to look at as well. So one of the things that these lenders should be able to do is give you a loan estimate, and what you want to do is look in box A that breaks out all of the fees, and you want to know what those fees are going for. Some of those fees may seem very legitimate. Some of them may be like, why is this random service fee sitting in here? You can at least have the opportunity to go back to the lender, ask what the value is behind these fees, because sometimes you may have a rate that looks a little bit higher, but when you add up all of the fees, you realize over the course of that loan, it's gonna be a very long time before you try to recoup that additional cost that you didn't need. So those are things to think about when you're looking at the total loan cost. The other thing, look at how each individual lender responded to you. What was their communication like? Remember, again, you want somebody that is an absolute professional, that knows what they're doing, and is going to be able to guide you through this process, because your real estate professional specializes in the real estate negotiations. Your loan officer is going to be the one who specializes in the loan process and can guide you through that, which is very, very important, very critical to the whole process. So, how fast did they get back to your emails? Did they tell you they were going to do something and not do it? Or did they do it in the time that they said they were going to do it? What is the tenor and the tone? Does it seem like this is somebody that you're going to work well with? How's the personality line up? Just remember that In the same way that I'm not going to be the realtor that works with every single person out there, because different individuals are going to, be on the same vibration of different realtors. It's going to be the same for you. Who are you vibing with in the whole process? The same with the loan officer. You want to work with them and look at them in that relationship the same way you're looking at your relationship with your realtor. Is this someone that you can trust, someone that you feel comfortable enough with? And remember, that doesn't mean you have to love the personality, by the way. It means you have to trust that they know what they're doing, they can guide you through successfully, and that they're going to provide you with just top level service. So that's really it for today, guys. Just a quick video. A lot of people are jumping in the market right now. I can tell you from my own personal experience, I actually have a lot more buyers coming back into the market right now. They see it's a better time than maybe it was a few months ago to get in, be looking at the higher inventories, room for negotiation, things like that. And also I'm working with a lot of people relocating. So those folks are going to need loan officers as well for moving from one house to the next. So regardless of where you are in the process, typically you're going to have a mortgage. If you are, I hope this video was helpful for you in explaining that process of finding the right lender that works for you. Now, if you are in the market, as always, guys, I would love to hear from you. What is your experience with loan officers? What are the kind of loan products you may have used? Have you worked with the large banks, the small community banks, credit unions, mortgage brokers, whatever it is? Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear what your experience has been and also what your preference is. I do want to say, if you're just starting this process and you're looking for a loan officer, I have great relationships with a lot of lenders here in the central Maine market and really all around the state of Maine. So please feel free to hit me up, reach out, send me an email. All of my contact information is always on these posts. Reach out, I'd be happy to give you a referral. I have zero skin in the game, guys. I get no payment from this. So I'm just gonna send you to people who I know that when I do business with them, they're taking care of my clients in the same way that I wanna take care of my clients. So that's what's important to me. So hit me up, let me know. As always, guys, I appreciate each and every one of you sticking around to the end of this video, and I'll see you next time.